Hi guys, today I'll be talking about my language, the Japanese, and figure out why everybody say it's so hard. Hope you like it. It's the common sense the Japanese is so hard and everybody say it's so hard. I know some of my friends tried to learn the Japanese and even if I helped, they ended up gave up learning the Japanese, so that is really hard anyway. Hey, take a look at this graph. This graph is from the Foreign Service Institute and they are the sum of the country and language painted by certain level of the language. So you can see Japan right here with the dark red. That means Japanese is really hard and it might take you over the 2 years. I cannot even believe it. So that's why everybody say Japanese is so hard. And also you can see the English right here and that means it's really easy on this graph. So why it's so difficult? Like any reason? Well, I'd say Japanese writing system, hiragana, katakana, and the kanji, I think these ones are really tricky for the foreigners. In hiragana, which is something as a Japanese things, has 50 sounds, like 50 vocabulary, as well as hiragana, also katakana has 50 vocabulary. So basically, it's 100 vocabulary, and it might be really tricky for the foreigners. Katakana is the something came outside of Japan. So for example, cucumber, Disneyland, Diet Coke, tomato, these type of the foreign things. So it also might be tricky because you don't even know what's the foreign things or not. And we also have the kanji, which is known as the hardest part of the Japanese. Yeah, you can say that again. I don't like the kanji, even I'm Japanese. Until the high school level or the level you can understand the Japanese clearly, you need the 3000 of the kanji. 3000 sounds a lot for you maybe, but when you come to Japan and visit many landmarks in Japan, you can see many kanji in the conversation or anywhere. So it's so necessary. However, in fact, there are 5 million kanji in the Japanese dictionary. So you don't have to remember or memorize all of the 5 million kanji. I think if you understand like 3000 kanji, that's alright. And also, none of us Japanese can memorize 5 million kanji. Of course, we sometimes forget them. So even if you can't get them, that's alright, because neither do I. But keep in mind, there are several ways you can read a kanji and pronounce the kanji. So that's the part why I don't like it, and that's the part it might be tricky for the foreigners. For example, hey, take a look at this Japanese sentence, and this one is not really a tricky one. It basically says today is the April 1st Monday, and today is the holiday sunny day. This one is not really tricky, right? And if I read it in Japanese, 今日は4月1日月曜日です。祝日で晴れの日です。Something like that. And I need to have undivided attention and take a look at this kanji. This kanji basically means a day, like a sunny day, holiday, like Sunday, day. And this kanji is pronounced a different way in this sentence. For example, 今日は4月1日で晴れの日です。月曜日で祝日です。They are pronounced in different ways, so it might be really hard for you because you have to memorize these patterns. But it also happens in English grammar. For example, longer E sound, shorter E sound, the schwa. You can understand these things. For example, taken, ask, empty, Eiffel Tower, everyone, T. These E sounds are different way, like pronounced different way in this vocabulary. So I think this one is not really a special case, but like I said, there are several ways you can pronounce the kanji, and it makes harder than you think for learning the Japanese. Yeah, that's what I hated. So there are 3 types of the writing system: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And kanji is really tricky part. And on the kanji, you can read it like several ways. So is that what I want to say on this video? Well, I can say it more. The next difficult thing is the culture difference. You know, we always use the honorific and the humility and the polite language. For example, when you meet a new people or someone who is in a higher hierarchy, we must use the honorific or humility. We use the honorific and the humility in a different situation, depends on the context. Mainly, if the context is the passive, we use the humility, and if it's not, we use the honorific. But you know, these differences are really vague in Japanese conversation. So it's really easy to get confused when I was talking or speaking to someone. So that's why I think this one is tricky. And also, I personally think this is the hardest part of the learning Japanese. We sometimes omit the subject, I mean the first person. Even if there are so many first person like subject in Japanese language, for example, subject for feminine or masculine or someone who is sassy, respectively, bossy, you know, there are so many first person like subject in Japanese language. But surprisingly, we sometimes omit the subject. So we have to consider the meaning of the subject or text. So that's why this one is really hard and tricky for the foreigners or even the Japanese. I sometimes get confused though. So mainly today I talked about my language, like why it's so hard. Everybody says it's so hard, like hard writing system like kanji, and also the cultural difference and omitting the subject. This one is so tricky for you, I know, but today I'm not here to threaten you the like difficulties of Japanese. Today I just here to share the like what is the Japanese and how difficult it is. If you are learning Japanese, I'm pretty happy for you because you know, I want you to speak Japanese in Japan, like you know, island of the Japan. That's the only place Japanese is spoken. So I want you to speak Japanese like if you can, but it's so rare. Thank you for watching today's video. My name is Shoro, and if you don't even know who I am, just subscribe and smash up the thumbs up. And I want to see you guys in the next video. Ciao! I mean, goodbye.